So before I get into the demo and review, I just want to give you a little bit of an idea what my skin is like. I have really dry skin, and it can typically flake around my nostrils, in the middle of my forehead, and in my eyebrows. And I also have large pores right in this area, like a lot of women do, especially when you get in your 30s. That starts to become a problem. So foundations can really cling onto all those imperfections and make it look really cakey and messy. So I'm really particular. If I find a foundation that I really like, I typically don't venture away from it unless the reviews are really amazing. I'm a huge fan of the original L'Oreal True Match foundation that comes in the glass bottle with a pump. I love it. So when this came out, I was really intrigued because these cushion foundations have been really big over in Asia for a while, and they're really blowing up in the United States. High-end brands had them, and now drugstore is starting to come out with it. So I'm intrigued and decided I wanted to try it. I bought this one at Walmart. It was $14.97, which is on the lower end of the price scale because I've seen them as much as $17, just depending on where you shop. The shade range in this is pretty decent. You have warm shades, cool shades, and neutral shades. The warm shades are going to be more yellow, sorry, itchy, and the cool shades are going to be more pink in undertone, and then the neutral is going to be somewhere right in the middle. I played it safe and got a neutral tone, and I also got the lightest shade in the neutral range available because with the original L'Oreal True Match foundation, I got like the one up from the lightest, and it was just a pinch too dark. I would rather my foundation be a little bit lighter because I can always warm up with bronzer. When you have foundation that's too dark, you get that mask. You really can't blend it without blending it all down your neck, and it's a hassle. So work smarter, not harder. The compact looks like this. It's got a rose gold packaging with white plastic here on the bottom. This claims to have a light to medium coverage, which you can build it up in areas where you need it more. For me, I have hormonal breakouts sometimes. My skin's not that bad, so I don't have any discoloration that I really need to cover. I have hollow under eyes just because I'm getting older and I've lost fat and volume under there, and even when I gain weight back, it just does not fill back out. So that's another video. Now more about the packaging. You have a mirror up here, whoop, and a sponge that just fell out. You have this little sponge, which I didn't use because I really love my Real Techniques sponge so much better. And then you have this little well right here that this sponge sits in. And let me see, how much is in here? 0.51 ounces is what you get in here. Now you open this. I have you zoomed in a little bit more so you can see better. All I did was exfoliate and moisturize. I'm not going to use a primer so you can see what the coverage is like, and I moisturize the lips too. I'm going to use a Real Techniques blending sponge. I just moistened it and squeezed out all the excess. I find this works for just about every foundation. So what you do is you're going to pick up some like this, and then you just start to blend it on the skin. Now this is what it looks like after one layer. It's not bad. It looks like, you know, skin, but better. Make sure you blend it down your neck. I didn't use any eye primer either because I'm going to show you why. Now I'm just going to do a second application so that you can see what more coverage looks like. As you can see, that gave me just a little bit more coverage, but you can still see some blemishes peeking through. You can see this freckle peeking through, so it's it gives you coverage, but it's not a heavy coverage. And I'm really, really, really dewy, which normally I really like. It didn't really cover up or help out with the pores at all, because typically I would use a pore filling primer, but I really want you to see how this lasts. And what I'm going to do is finish up some of my other makeup. I'm not going to put any shadow on, just brows and, you know, add a little color to my face. And I'm going to check back with you in a couple of hours so that you can see how this wears. All right, it is now 3 hours later. I had some lunch and picked the kids up from the school and ran a couple of errands. And let me just show you what has happened. I'm going to zoom in. Let's see. I don't know if you can tell, but it is worn off of the nose. If you look at my eyes, you can see that it's creased. And I don't know if you can tell, but under the eyes, it's just as creasy as in the lid. And that's just with 3 hours of wear. So that's a no-go. So it's a personal preference that I don't use a primer on my T-zone because it just dries me out too much and makes the foundation cling and look patchy. And with my other foundations, actually even the regular True Match Lumi does not crease like this on my lids and under my eyes. It feels like an oil slick right now, and I am not oily at all. And if I just touch my face, I don't even have to rub, and it just comes off on my fingertips. I don't know if you can see, but I mean, everybody touches their face throughout the day, so you don't want your foundation transferring off and leaving patches all over your face. So that's another negative. And the first time I used this the other day, sorry, I'm looking at notes here. I used a concealer just to see how it wore. And I did set the concealer with a loose powder like I normally do. And typically that'll leave me a tiny bit dry under my eyes, but it slipped and slid around like crazy. It creased even worse than without it. So yeah, I mean, just all around, I don't enjoy this. And for $15, $16, $17, that's pretty pricey for a drugstore foundation. I mean, that's getting closer to like your mid-range high-end foundations that you would find, you know, on the prestige side of the store. So do I recommend that you get it or skip it? I'm going to skip it. I am taking this back and I'm going to use my money for something better. Hope you enjoyed this kind of review. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.